It's a gorgeous day in Texas. You see the sky, the roof is open, 74 degrees, perfect afternoon for football. The Titans won the toss. They deferred. The Texans will receive. It's our first look today at Ryan Fitzpatrick, third team in 3 years for him.
Right, Kevin. He's also coming off a 2-week sabbatical. He was benched in favor of Ryan Mallett. In talking to Tennessee defensive coordinator Ray Horton, he said, we've got to find out about him early. We got to see where he is, his confidence, get around him early, discourage him. They don't want this guy to get off to a good start.
The kicker will be Ryan Suckup, the former Kansas City kicker who was let go in the end of training camp and signed by this team. And deep back will be Danielle Manning to return the kickoff for the Houston Texans. I guess I'd wonder about the psyche of Fitzpatrick, you know, and how he must be managing that, Rich.
This first quarter is going to be important for him, certainly for Houston, and for the confidence of their veteran quarterback.
He's going to let that baby fly out of the end zone, touch back to the 20. That brings on the offense, and there's a look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. In front of him, the offensive line. The durable center, Chris Myers, anchors that line. It's a very stable line overall. Just one missed start all season for the entire group. And receiver DeAndre Hopkins has had 3 100-yard games this season. Andre Johnson is the Texans' leading receiver. But Rich, you're watching tape, don't think he's quite the same Johnson as he was.
You just don't see the explosive plays, Kevin, the big plays after the catch. He's had just 1 touchdown the entire season.
It's Foster on 1st and 10 and grabbed near the line of scrimmage and hit on the play by defensive lineman Sammy Hill. There is no gain. The Titan D, Jarrell Casey, remains a very disruptive force on the defensive line. All-Pro a season ago. They welcome back Patoa Tua this week. At linebacker, the Titans will start Quentin Groves for the injured and inactive Cam Wembley, out with a hamstring injury. In the secondary, Michael Griffin starts despite separating his shoulder last week. Came back and played 2nd and 10. They zip it outside. Andre Johnson tackled on the play by McCourty. The gain to the 26, and he picks up 6, setting up 3rd and 4.
Well, you see Andre Johnson leads the team with 58 reception. Very modest year for him so far. Kevin, you were just mentioned, just 11.5 yards a catch. He scored just the 1 touchdown. They're doing everything they can, you know, to try and get him the ball, try to get him some opportunities early, but the production simply hasn't been there.
Mike 20! Wide! Hey, let's go. Mike slap Linda. Mike slap Linda.
Titans have 6 in the secondary. 3rd and 4.
Wait, 80! Wait,
Fitzpatrick low. Did Hopkins scoop it up? They say he did. Coverage on the play by Stafford. It's a gain of 10. It's a first down to the 36.
We're actually doubling Hopkins. What a terrific catch. Great concentration by the receiver there on the boundary. A low throw from Ryan Fitzpatrick, and DeAndre's able to scoop it up.
Hopkins out of Clemson. Here is a first down handoff, and it goes for the freewheeling Foster, who is brought down on the play by Wilson. It's a gain of 3 up to the 39.
Really no secret, Kevin, in terms of what Houston wants to do today. They want to run the football, and there's a reason why they're 3rd in rushing. And you look the last time these two teams got together, the Texans gashed the Titans for over 200 yards on the ground.
There's a 2nd down and 7. This is Foster again trying to find his footing and his rhythm, and kind of got tripped up on the play by Morgan on a gain of 2 up to the 42-yard line. The Texans, and you can see it right there, they run the ball more than any other team but Seattle in the NFL, although averaging more is Dallas. But in terms of attempts, it's all the Texans and the Seahawks at the very top.
Yeah, they're averaging over 137 a game, and as you point out, Kevin, they're running it just a little over 50% of the time.
Daenerys Johnson is in on this 3rd and 4 as a receiver. Foster, patient with the block, has the first down. Blocked by Johnson, run out of bounds across the way by Sensabaugh. 15-yard burst, and that is a first down to the Tennessee 43.
Well, you just see Arian Foster, nice kick-out block up top by Dwayne Brown. And it's a good offensive line. They do a good job getting up on the 2nd level. And again, they're a much different offense with a healthy Arian Foster.
It's Fitzpatrick with the 1st and 10, following the Brown block, slithers through. Foster down to about the 36-yard line, falls on his own accord, although Griffin tapped him right there after a gain of 6.
You look at him jump the ball. Bill O'Brien spoke to us on Friday about the tempo. And he said that we've got to have better tempo. They're not playing fast enough. Not surprised to see him jump the ball here early.
Mike's 21. Hey, cut it. Cut it. Mike's left 39.
They're just going to keep running it, Kevin.
Alfred Blue is in now. 2nd down and 3. Blue hit by Sensabaugh back to the line of scrimmage, and Blue is the rookie out of LSU, and a gain of a yard right there to about the 35.
Well, Tennessee can't stop the run. It's a real problem for them. They're currently dead last in run defense. You're giving up 145 yards a game on the ground. Until you stop the run, you're going to keep seeing heavy doses of it, and that's what Houston has done. They're going to come out here and continue to push the ball down the field in the running game. That's their MO so far in the first quarter.
Mike's right 54.
9th play of the drive, 3rd and 2.
180.
Fitzpatrick, Blue pulling his Newton. Johnson is there, and then a good stop by McCourty, and also getting some help from Al Woods with no gain on the play. When you mention O'Brien talking about tempo, what does that, I mean, we're seeing a lot of no huddle right here. I guess that's what he's talking about.
I think he's trying to get more plays run. I think he's trying to put more pressure on the defense. I think he's trying to limit substitutions. And I think it's just a style in which they want to play moving forward.
Now they got a 4th down, Rich, 4th and 2, and they're going to go for it here from the 35.
Yeah, look, you're 5 and 6. You've got to take some chances. You've got to be aggressive. It just sends a message to the entire football team.
Hey, 21 Linda, 21 Linda.
Foster back in.
180.
We have a 4th and 2. Blocked by Brown, left tackle. Fitzpatrick, he's got the first down on the move and crushed at the 22-yard line. Hit back there by Stafford, whacked by Griffin, runs for 14, moves the chains to the 21 of Tennessee. Fitzpatrick picks up the first down.
And this is what Ryan Fitzpatrick gives you, the mobility at the quarterback position. They've got man-to-man routes. They're all covered. And when you have man-to-man routes, all the defenders have their back turned towards the quarterback. And the thing that I love about Fitzpatrick, he won't slide. He's a tough guy. He's going to go head first.
On the first down right now, drive began back at their 20. Foster, good cut, Myers the block, the run to the 15. Brought down on the play by Wilson among others on a gain of 6 for Arian Foster. So he's had runs of 15, 6, and 6 right there. Hopkins caught one, Rich, for 10. Fitzpatrick just ran for a first down and 14 yards.
And look what's happened since week 8, Kevin. They're on the field too much. They get worn down late in games, and they can't stop the run. I mean, it's a real problem right now. And everybody knows it.
Yeah, everybody does. And we got a team that's number 4 in rushing in Houston. 2nd down and 4. Blue back in. Blue, Myers another block. They get kind of caught up in the traffic in there. Not a whole lot of room. With a gain to about the 14.5-yard line, we could probably call it right there. Williamson was right there. No gain on the play. And on the other side, you got Ken Wisenhunt in his first year as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
And he's got all kind of problems right now. They're 2-9. They've had 3 different quarterbacks play this year. They've got changes along the offensive line. They got 3 different starters today, so they're going to have their hands full with J.J. Watt.
Hey, Molasses, 59 Linda, 180. Wide. Go ahead. Hey, 59 Linda.
Get together here. Come forward.
White 20.
3rd and 4. More than tap. Did he scoop that one up too? He did. Another shoestring grab by Hopkins. He was covered by Pleady Ray Wilson. Picks up 7. First down throw. Goal to go now for the Texans.
Well, another low throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick. It looks to me like he gets both hands underneath the football. Now, whether it hits the ground or not, as he rolls over. Boy, Hopkins has made 2 terrific catches so far in this drive.
And they're both on 3rd down.
Hey, Mike's left now. 59.
That means a lot to a quarterback. I have a reliable guy like that.
Guy that can make plays versus man-to-man coverage.
It's 1st and goal. Goes out to the tight end, Griffin. Touchdown. Ryan Griffin. In only his 3rd reception of the season, Griffin has his first touchdown, an 8-yard toss by Ryan Fitzpatrick.
This is what happened when you run the ball so much that you turn the tight end loose who's lined up in the backfield. I mean, everybody's focused on Arian Foster that no one even accounts for Ryan Griffin in the flat.
Griffin is out of UConn and a 6th-round pick, and Fitzpatrick throws his 12th touchdown pass of the season, and Bullock will try to tack on one more, which he does. Hopkins with 2 third-down receptions, both from quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. Foster had a run of 15. Fitzpatrick 4 of 4 on the drive, and the last one brought him 6. Griffin with his second touchdown reception in his very short career. You were just talking about the tight end situation with the Texans.
Yeah, virtually no production at all from the tight end position this season. All 3 tight ends have combined for just 22 catches and 1 touchdown in 11 games. It's good to see.
All right, the ensuing kickoff now comes from Bullock. Bishop Sankey, who is the rookie out of Washington, lets it go through his hands, and it'll be a touchback to the 20. First look at rookie quarterback Zach Mettenberger. Next on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by T-Mobile.
Now the very pretty Gerald D. Hines Waterwall Park here in Houston. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, our entire CBS crew. Just had a 8-yard touchdown pass to Griffin from Fitzpatrick for the Texans on the game-opening drive. Mettenberger first and 10, and his handoff. You'll find a gain of 4. Crick is there on that defensive line. Pickett is there with a gain of 3 on Sankey. Mettenberger's got some changes on that offensive line in front of him. He makes his 5th career start. Last week, Rich, 345 yards through the air.
Yeah, I'm seeing progress, Kevin. First start was against this very team, the Houston Texans, 5 weeks ago. Should help him today. Very familiar with their personnel and scheme.
Second down and 7. Sankey a block. Justin Hunter was drilled. That ball picked off by Jonathan Joseph. He returned one last week for a touchdown. Can he make it 2 in a row? Out of bounds, they say. Way back about the 20. Hunter is down. Jonathan Joseph had a pick 6 last week of 60 yards on Dalton. Mettenberger picked off right there by the veteran Joseph, a 2-time Pro Bowler. And Hunter was waylaid.
Well, this was just too tight. I mean, Jonathan Joseph knows he has help inside from the safety Manning. And what did Zach Mettenberger tell us last night, Kevin? I've got to work away from Jonathan Joseph. I'm surprised they started off throwing the ball in his direction.
There he hit the chalk right there.
Yep. Well, an aggressive throw, an aggressive call right out the gate.
Danielle Manning is the one that drilled Hunter. There was no penalty flag thrown on the hit. Good sign right there. Justin getting to his feet. 6:43 to play in the first. Mettenberger throwing the pick there. He's now got 6 interceptions on the season. Jonathan Joseph is the one to get him. One of the craftiest in the NFL. His second interception of the season. One last week, as we told you before, off Dalton, that he raced 60 yards on a pick 6. So after the interception, they take over at the 20. With the first and 10, Foster in the backfield. Fitzpatrick going low. Another low catch at the 9, made by Hopkins. The coverage by Bleedy Ray Wilson. Gain of 11, first and goal.
Kevin, let's go back and take a look at the interception. They're running the post route, but keep an eye on the safety. He's on the near hash, and what's he doing? He's eyeing the quarterback the whole way. They have nothing to hold the safety other than the quarterback's eyes. This is too easy. So he gets the hit on Hunter, and Jonathan Joseph knows that he has help inside from the safety, so he's going to sit on that post route.
180!
Couple tight ends, first and goal, and down goes Fitzpatrick. Got caught up with someone's cleat. Someone may have stepped on his shoe. They had the 2 tight ends. It is a loss of 4. He'll go back to about the 13.
Well, footwork's so important. You watch the center, Chris Myers. He's going to step on the right foot of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and when that happens, I can tell you there's nothing you can do about it other than hold on to the football.
So that happened to you a lot, huh? A lot?
Not a lot, but it did happen on occasion.
I'm glad you caught it. Second goal at the 13.
Come on, Dwayne.
I didn't mean anything.
20!
You know me too well.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick. Down to the quick slant, he's got Foster. Woodyard was right there, down to about the 7. They pick up 6. Foster had a touchdown reception the first time these two teams met. In fact, Richie had 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 through the air in the meeting about a month ago.
And we know how good of a runner he is, but we forget how important he is to the passing game. He is very good out of the backfield. He's a patient route runner. He's a terrific screen runner. And, of course, we know he's a very difficult tackle in the open field.
Griffin in motion, as you see. 3rd and goal at the 7.
Hey, 54 Rita! 180!
Fitzpatrick with the time. Touchdown. Arian Foster. And he beat the linebacker. Woodyard. Flag has been thrown at the 1. Stands right now a 7-yard touchdown pass, which would be the 2nd of the day for Fitzpatrick.
Prior to pass, holding, number 54 in the defense. That penalty is declined, resulting in the play is a touchdown.
That's the rookie, so touchdown passes of 8 yards to a tight end, 7 yards to the terrific Foster. They take that interception and convert it into a touchdown.
Well, this is a game of matchups, Kevin. You want to get your running back matched up on the linebacker one-on-one. Fitz has to hold a little bit, but Woodyard's not going to be able to run with Arian Foster very long.
Arian Foster with his 4th touchdown reception of the season. Making it 14-0 with Bullock splitting the uprights and 4:50 to play. Mettenberger throws an interception on the 2nd Tennessee play from line of scrimmage, and it's picked off by Joseph. And then Fitzpatrick with his 2nd touchdown pass of the day, this time to the decorated Foster.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Dodge Dart. Don't touch it.
Foster just caught that touchdown from Fitzpatrick, who told us the other day, Rich, that he was more surprised by anything about Foster's receiving ability. He said he's a better receiver than I thought.
He's a very good route runner. He's got great patience. Nice job getting up on the linebackers and creating separation.
Foster making a splash. Let's see what this kid can do. He just threw a interception. 4:50 in the 1st. We're back in Houston with NFL Now. Get access to the largest NFL video library on the planet. Select your favorite teams or players, and NFL Now delivers non-stop videos on all your favorite devices. Get NFL Now for free at NFL.com/now. Mettenberger after the kickoff and the 7-yard touchdown pass to Foster. 1st and 10. Bishop Sankey hit by a couple. Crick was right there. Gain of 3. Cushing making the stop, too, to the 23-yard line. 3 significant changes on the line. At left tackle, Will Svitek will start for the injured Taylor Lewan. At center, Chris Spencer for the injured Brian Schwenke. And at right tackle, Byron Stingley is in for Michael Orr, who is active but will not start. And we talked about the tight end, Delaney Walker, who puts together the best tight end performance last week in the league among all tight ends in Philadelphia. It's 2nd down and 7. Sankey again. Blocked from the tight end bracket. He's to the 24. He was hit on the play by Darrell Morris, who's out of Texas State. It is a gain of 3. Texans up front. We talk about Watt. A lot of MVP talk nationally about Watt. Linebacker Whitney Merciless starts for the injured Javadian Clowney. Tuggle will start for Akeem Dent. And A.J. Boye starts for the injured Kareem Jackson, who they think will return next week. He's had a sprained MCL. Inactive now for a 3rd straight game. It's 3rd and 5. Stingley up block. They get by Svitek. Here comes Mettenberger. He's got the 1st down. And sliding for the 1st down into the grasp of Mike Muhammad. A gain of 9. He's up to the 33.
Well, this is going to be a problem all day. You've got a new left tackle in there, and he's got his hands full with J.J. Watt. Watt goes right by Svitek. Almost gets the ball out of Mettenberger. Mettenberger has the wherewithal to pull it down and to make a 1st down. It's just not something we see a lot of from Zach Mettenberger, but he's going to have to do it today when you consider he's got 3 new starters along that offensive line.
By the way, the injured Hunter is now the slot receiver on top, so he's back out there. 1st down and 10 for Mettenberger. Good time here, and he's got the aforementioned Hunter out of bounds near the 50-yard line. defended by Joseph, who picked off Mettenberger on the first series. It's a pickup of 18 and a first down.
This is a really nice throw. It comes off a play action, and it's a nice job. He's very patient. A little double move up the sidelines, creates some separation between himself and the defender. But a good, accurate throw there from Mettenberger.
A young quarterback just need a couple completions, don't they, Rich?
Oh, it's so important.
Confidence.
Just, you come out, you throw a pick, all of a sudden, you think the world's going to end. You just got to get him right back in there and get him in a rhythm. Get him some confidence again.
6'5" Mettenberger. Sankey tripped up nicely by Merciless. A loss of 1. Back to the 50. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
Luck to Fleener. Well, Rich was talking about a guy with confidence. How about Andrew Luck? This is his 30th touchdown pass of the season. 30 yards to Kobe Fleener. Colts lead the Redskins 7-3.
College 1-2 that's working at the pro level. Back to Kevin Harlan.
Good point, James. Fleener, very important target. Palo Alto now in Indianapolis. With Luck, 2nd and 11. They've got Nate Washington on a slant. Getting the ball about the 40. Hit by Jonathan Joseph. Picks up 10. Nice throw on a timing throw by Mettenberger.
Yeah, the Titans have to do some things differently today, Kevin. You think about all the changes they have up front. I think Mettenberger's got to get rid of the football. The quick game's got to be a priority. Screens have to be a priority as well to slow down J.J. Watt in the pass rush. Some runs away from J.J. Watt. Get a good look at Ken Wisenhunt. He's going to have to be creative without 3 starters along the offensive line.
Klug is in. Flag is thrown. Handoff goes to Green on 3rd and 1. Jumping on him was Jarrell Poe.
Number 69, the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
69 is Eric Olson. They put him in on the line. Klug is a fullback. First penalty of the game right there. Olson was just signed this past week because of all the problems injury-wise on their line.
Yeah, you see right there. I mean, just doing everything they can to get some big bodies in there, and Olsen just tackles him.
Now becomes 3rd and 11. They need the 39 of Houston. 6 defensive backs for the Texans.
Oh, out of time.
Yep, timeout. Mettenberger leaping high and calling for the timeout. First used by Tennessee. 2 touchdown passes by Fitzpatrick. We're late in the first. A look at Watt. 44 seconds to go. Boys, the only undefeated road team in the NFL. Their last road loss at Chicago last year on a Monday game. But right now on the outside looking in the very tough NFC playoff picture. Just had a Tennessee timeout. It's 3rd and 11. What are they showing defensively?
They're disguising their intentions. They're making the rookie quarterback have to wait.
Moves up. Got by Watt. Gets it off to Leon Washington. Hit by Joseph shy of the first down. He's down to the 42. Had to get to the 39. It picks up 9. Leon Washington cannot get the first. They'll punt.
Well, they're going to have to. Mettenberger's going to have to continue to step up in the pocket. That's going to happen all day. They're going to struggle with J.J. Watt coming off the corner. You've got a tackle out there that doesn't have a lot of reps. So Mettenberger can't hold it. And he's got to feel a sense of urgency to step up in the pocket.
What would you tell your left tackle if you're in that huddle as a quarterback about what Watt coming and charging at you every play?
Just give me a heads up. Let me know.
Look out. Look out.
The old lookout block.
John Martin is going to fair catch this about the 10-yard line on the punt by Brett Kern, which sails 32 yards. Look at Watt. 2 touchdown passes by Fitzpatrick. Starting the second quarter, 5-6 Houston on top. You see some numbers from the first quarter. Some of the most important, though, the 7 of 7 Fitzpatrick through the air.
And Kevin, we talked about how important it was for him to get off to a good start. Remember now, he's on a sabbatical. He sat down for a couple weeks. He had to watch Ryan Mallett.
Blue is in the backfield with a 1st and 10. Newton with the push. Oh, and just out of the outstretched arms of Damaris Johnson, 3rd-year player from Tulsa. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Here are some of the things you're keeping an eye on today.
Well, let's start with Tennessee. We talked about a smooth start on the road. That hasn't happened. They shut out once again in the first quarter. 34 first quarter points all season. They have not been able to contain Arian Foster. He's already rushed for 35 yards on just 6 carries. Fitzpatrick, Kevin, you mentioned 7 of 7. He's gotten off to a good start, and they've already forced Mettenberger into a big mistake, the interception early.
It's blue. Up the middle, and all kinds of guys getting a hand on that. Griffin fell on him late. And on that line, Jarrell Casey allows him a gain of 5. He's up to the 15, so I guess that smooth start on the road is probably gone for Tennessee.
And they're not built to play from behind right now. You've got a rookie quarterback who's learning on the job. You've got a defense that can't stop the run. You've got a team that's going to continue to run it. Ball security and time of possession is going to be a big story in this one.
Foster is back in, 3rd and 5 for quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick in his 10th year from Harvard. That baby never got off the ground.
Chris Myers a little late there with the snap count.
Making his 108th consecutive Texan start today.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Now what do you say back in the huddle? Your guy does that, the center doesn't snap it, now you got 5 yards more to go, so it's 3rd and 10.
Well, I think you move on. Look, Chris Myers is a veteran guy, he's a Pro Bowler, he's an intelligent player. Just you make a mistake. And what happens sometimes, Kevin, he's busy. He's making calls and making adjustments and making checks. He's doing a lot of the air traffic control work up there, and all of a sudden he loses his focus for a second, doesn't hear the snap count.
Suafilo, the rookie guard, is on the left side. 3rd down and 10. Foster breaks 1 tackle. Jumping on his back is Stafford. He's out to about the 16-yard line. 3 yards shy of a first. On a gain of 6. It's 3 and out. The Texans have got a punt for the first time today.
It took a little while to develop. Arian Foster gets caught up a little bit. Slips actually coming out on the screen. You see Jarrell Casey. He's there. He can't make the tackle. Missed tackles were a big part of the story last week in Philadelphia. The Titans had 17 missed tackles in that game.
Just saw Dexter McCluster back for the Shane Leckler punt. He'll fair catch this about the 40-yard line. The hang time of 4.78. And a flag has been thrown at the 14-yard line on a 44-yard punt with Jeff Triplett, our referee today here in Houston. Rich, looks like you enjoyed your Thanksgiving.
During the kick, holding number 57 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
I don't mean that
I
negatively.
think we all did.
Speak for yourself. Here comes Mettenberger. We're in Houston, early 2nd quarter. 14-zip the Texans. We were talking with the coach last night, Wisenhunt. He said that, and then of course with Zach Mettenberger, he said that Cam Cameron, his offensive coordinator in LSU, had a lot to do with his mechanic and the improvement there.
He's clearly benefited Kevin from the time he spent with Cam at LSU. Former NFL head coach, offensive coordinator. He's had a lot of success with young quarterbacks.
With the 1st and 10 run, he's finally brought down by Kendrick Lewis. He leads the team in tackles. It is a gain of 6 up to the 36-yard line. Yeah, Cameron said he made his game more compact. What did he mean by that?
Well, he's a taller guy. He's a bit of a long strider, and so Cam really had to work with him a lot like Joe Flacco. You think about Cam Cameron. He worked with Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Joe Flacco, and of course Zach Mettenberger said his last year at LSU he had just the one online class, so he felt like he was being trained for this opportunity.
Into the nickel, 2nd and 4. Here is Kendall Wright, first time, and the Texan moves it up to the 47-yard line. He's from Pittsburgh, Texas. It's a catch and run of 11. A good move by one of the emerging players in the league, Kendall Wright. He's up to the 47.
Yeah, he leads the team with 44 receptions and 4 touchdowns, and he's very quick. And this is all you want to do, just a little quick screen, get him out there in space and let him go to work.
Lewis makes the stop. Wright was at Baylor with RG3. It's a 1st and 10. Flea flicker, Sankey. Oh no, here comes Brooks Reed. Flag thrown, probably a hold. The sack back to the 35. Reed would not be stopped, came barreling in off the side. It's a 12-yard loss on the play. See all that hair flying around. You don't know if it's Clay Matthews or Brooks Reed. You just know, get out, duck, huh? Just get out of the way.
Yeah, you're going to be one short here. There are
2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 34, the defense. holding, number 82 of the offense.
Offset.
By rule of those penalties, all set. We play first down.
This is why you don't want to run this play. I mean, you look at, no, honestly, you look at all these numbers here, right? And you're going to be short because they're bringing, this is a pressure look. And so you're trying to run a flea flicker here, and you just can't hold up that long. And that's just inexperience, Kevin. There's certain plays, there's trick 'em plays that you got to get out of versus an 8-man front.
First and 10. Battle was in to provide a block and no one home. Flag is thrown, looking for Washington, who is open, crossing about the 30-yard line. Flag is back at about the 32.
This is going to be defensive holding.
Sure is.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Rich, with the new center, we talked about all the changes on the line, but with the new center, how does that directly affect the quarterback?
Well, you think about the quarterback-center exchange. That's the simple thing, Kevin. I think communication more important than anything. But the good thing about Chris Spencer, he's been around, he's a 10-year vet. He's got 90 career starts both at guard and center. I think he's going to be okay.
This is Sean Grain. Levitre trying to throw a block. Walker throws a block. He gets down to about the 48-yard line. Hit across the way by Brian Cushing. There is no gain on the play. Well, tomorrow on CBS, it's a Mike and Molly marathon. Catch 4 hilarious back-to-back episodes starting at 8, 7 Central. Only CBS.
To back.
Are you counting?
I'll be TiVo on them. To back.
I bet you will.
I'm the TiVo king.
Second down and 10.
Look at J.J. Watt. I mean, you know, he's such an imposing figure. But you can't let him dictate how you play on offense.
But isn't everything tilted toward him anyway?
Well, you got to track and locate him. You've got to be able to have a body on him, but you cannot let him take over the game.
Second and 10, Sankey. Good block by Spencer. And then all kinds of good traffic there to make the stop at about the 45-yard line. Watt was down there. Mike Muhammad was down there too. It is a gain of 3 to the 45.
And the problem, Kevin, we talk about J.J. Watt is you can't just say, okay, we're going to double team him. We come out of the huddle, we're going to help the left tackle. He may not be over there. He plays on the left. He plays on the right. He plays inside. He plays outside. He gives him great versatility. He can play all 5 positions along that defensive line.
You're breaking the huddle as a quarterback. First thing you look for is 99, right?
Yeah, you're going to try and find him, but you can't always help these tackles. At some point, they're going to have to block J.J. Watt.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 7, Mettenberger. He right there had his receiver, Washington, the coverage by A.J. Boyer. And he got his fingers on it, but could not haul it in. So they're going to have to punt. 5 plays punt for the Tennessee Titans.
And again, he's not outside. This time he's inside. And they're going to do everything they can to overload one side so that they ensure that they get the one-on-one matchups. And again, he cannot hold the football. When you're starting a new center and 2 tackles, it's imperative that Zach Mettenberger step up, Kevin, and get rid of the ball on time.
Punt by Kern. Martin is back. Middle of the pack in terms of punt returners in the AFC, and beautifully grabbed by Derek Hagan at the 1. 44-yard, well-placed punt, terrific bounce. And Fitzpatrick marooned at his 1. Fitzpatrick's thrown 2 touchdown passes so far, 10-11 in the second.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. The all-new LG G3, the world's first smartphone with laser autofocus. And by K Jewelers.
Galleria Mall with Christmas trees and ice skating. Very festive time there this Thanksgiving weekend.
You look at that poor starting field position. Has been a problem all season, Kevin, for the Houston offense. 19th possession starting inside their own 10-yard line. Big reason why, 28th in kickoff returns, 27th in punt returns. Special teams have really held them back.
Foster back there with Fitzpatrick with the 1st and 10. Groves will chase. Wide open Hopkins. And he's brought down by Wilson. And the catch and run gives him breathing space to the 33, 31-yard pickup by DeAndre Hopkins out of Clemson.
Well, this is a really nice job by Ryan Fitzpatrick. He starts to his right, it's not there. He starts to run. Now he keeps his eyes open downfield and is able to find Hopkins. He's not even looking at him. Right at the last second, he just feels him out of the corner of his eye.
I hear you saying that a lot, keeping your eyes downfield.
You have to. And Fitzpatrick's a veteran. You got to look at 9 of 10. Really good start for him.
Foster on 1st and 10. Mike Martin along with a couple others making the stop about the 36. Also a stop by Hill, gain of 4 for Arian Foster. 3-time 1,000-yard rusher and on that track again this year.
You know, I think it's really helpful for a guy like Fitzpatrick, Kevin. You know, he's very familiar with Tennessee's personnel from having played with the Titans last season. He's competing and going up against these two corners every day in practice. He knows what McCourty and Fleety Ray Wilson do well and where they struggle.
2nd and 6. Going outside, looking for Johnson. The coverage by McCourty on the play. Bringing up 3rd and 6, and here is the day so far with 2 touchdowns by Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he started off with a couple of low throws, but again found the tight end for a touchdown. And he's made some good reads. He's been patient in the pocket. He's been very accurate. And again, this was the start that he needed after having sat and watched the last couple of weeks. You could tell he was anxious to play when we visited with him on Friday. Coach O'Brien said it was his best week of practice that he's had this season.
Patrick 4 and 5 as a starter. Here's a 3rd and 6 and slings it outside. Caught with a grab made by McCourty on the receiver. Andre Johnson, gain of 6 on the play, putting him at the 42.
Well, you got to look and see where he catches this ball, where forward progress is. It looks like he has it. Think about Andre Johnson. He is big, he is strong, and he is powerful.
You think he's losing his legs at 33 years of age?
Well, I mean, Kevin, you look at the numbers, and certainly the numbers bear that out. You don't see the big plays down the field. And look, he could still be very productive in this offense. They have to do some different things, though. They have to be willing to move him around. Get him off of some of that press coverage.
With the 1st and 10. Ross Johnson, 45-yard line. Coverage on the play by McCourty. 2nd down. And coming up on the Verizon halftime report from our CBS studios, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores, news, and highlights of a very busy week, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report. It's 2nd down and 10. Foster. He's grabbed by Carl Klug on a gain of 3, and he's up to about the 45-yard line. This Foster, and you were talking last night with Ray Horton about, you know, the way he runs, the way he carries himself, who he reminds you and Ray of, and you both guess the same guy.
Well, initially he caught me off guard. He said he's Lionel Richie. He's easy like Sunday morning. He's so smooth. He's a very fluid runner, but he is like Marcus Allen. He's an upright runner. You never seem to get a clean hit on Arian Foster in the hole.
He does have a little bit of that tendency, doesn't he?
He is very smooth.
3rd and a long 7 here for Fitzpatrick. He sends Foster out in the flat, and now he goes downfield, and it's caught for a 1st down. Andre Johnson grabs him right there, right in front of McCourty. Picks up 15 yards. He's been big on this drive. It's a 1st and 10.
And this is what Ryan Fitzpatrick gives you that Mallet doesn't. You know, the ability to improvise, to get outside the pocket, to make those big plays down the field off the scramble.
Foster on 1st and 10. Big time hole. Got by Griffin. Hit in the secondary by Stafford. Gain of 11. Another 1st down to the 30-yard line of Tennessee.
This offensive line of the Houston Texans is getting my attention. They do a nice job coming off the ball. You see them all work in unison together. Do a good job pushing defenders past the hole, creating some creases for Arian Foster.
Not bad rookie play in the left guard. Suafilo, and here comes Foster again before he runs out of room. Griffin was there. Gain of 6. He's down to about the 25-yard line. Every injury that Foster's had has been more of a soft tissue injury, and they talk about that. Nothing skeletal, but soft tissue.
Yeah, it's frustrating, you know, because he's such a talented player. And, you know, when he's gone out, Alfred Blue's come in, and he's not the same player, doesn't have the experience. But it's amazing to think he's missed 3 games and tied for 7th in rushing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Fitzpatrick 1st and 10 in right make it 2nd down and 4 right through the hands of Ryan Griffin, who caught a touchdown pass a bit earlier in the game of 8 yards. The first of 2 thrown by Fitzpatrick today.
Well, you got to make that catch.
What about that sun, though, Rich? I mean, it seemed like right when he crossed into that sun, maybe.
I don't think it's a big deal, Kevin. You know, this is a team, they practice here on Fridays on occasion. They're used to it. They play their home games here. It's a young player have to make that catch.
So you don't think it's a big issue?
No, I don't think it's a huge issue on that particular one. Some of these deep balls down the field.
Hey, Callie, this one.
Foster's back in, 5 in the second, make it 6 in the secondary. Foster out of bounds, looked like Dante Moak, who was just brought up this week off the practice squad, makes the stop, but not before he gets 8 and takes it to the 18.
Well, Tennessee brings pressure, and Fitzpatrick does the next best thing. He gets the ball out quick to his back, Arian Foster. And again, those matchups, the running back on these linebackers is going to be really important. That's the matchup that the Texans want to take advantage of.
Blue on 1st and 10. Running outside and slowed down and eventually taken down by Bleedy Ray Wilson on a gain of a yard. Down to the 17. The drive began back, Rich, on the 1. They got Hopkins for a catch and run of 31. Andre Johnson for 15. Foster moments ago a run of 11.
Yeah, and you look at this offense, I think with the change at quarterback comes some changes to the offense to better suit Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're seeing more shotgun, some more empty sets. Fitzpatrick likes to spread out the defense so he can see what's going on. Not the tallest guy, he's much more comfortable in the gun.
In the nickels, 2nd down and 9. Blue. Flag thrown. Williamson takes him out of bounds. The rookie out of Kentucky. He's down to the 5. A pickup of 12. But I think that's going to be on Houston. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Pass interference. Offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Ryan Griffin picks it up, now making it 2nd down and 19. Fitzpatrick at 32 years of age. He'd love to be a full-time starter. Who wouldn't? But it looks like right now this team is maybe thinking down the road a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, look, Kevin, it's not easy. Look at Fitzpatrick. It's been his 10th year, 5th different team, and I don't think they feel he's the long-term answer at quarterback. They were hoping to get a chance to evaluate Ryan Mallett. Unfortunately, he tears that pec. He's done for the year, but
2nd 19 here. Foster. Trufillo makes a block, and then he's knocked out of bounds by Woodyard with no gain on the play. There's a look at Ryan Mallett, and they traded for him with New England early on.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Talking to the staff, they think it happened before the Cleveland game. He never really said anything about it because he didn't want to come out of the game. And I think he tried to play through it. There's a good chance, no one's really talked about it, Kevin. He didn't hurt that in the game. He didn't hurt it warming up. He hurt it in the weight room. That's where you tear your pec muscle. I've never heard of a quarterback throwing the football tearing a pec muscle.
And then he played with it.
What happened was he probably irritated it in the weight room and went out there and eventually made it worse by throwing.
Jonathan Grimes gets the call, 3rd and 18, tackled about the 19-yard line. As he was trying to find some room, it looked like Moak was there. Gain of 8. And they're going to try for 3. Get something out of this drive, which began back at their 1. So they ate up the clock. They control the ball, and they move it downfield. That's, I mean, and they said they looked at it after the game. It was like this big ball of rolled up muscle behind his chest. It's just horrible.
It's terrible because it was a great opportunity he had here the next 5 weeks to show Bill O'Brien and his coaching staff that he can play.
Bullock from 37 yards away knocks it in. He's hit 6 of his last 8. And he extends the Houston lead with 3:25 to go. NFL Play 60 encourages kids to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. To learn how and to find out great play ideas, visit NFLrush.com/play60. Getting active whenever you can. In fact, the great J.J. Watt grew up as a hockey player. Went to Pewaukee High School. He's from the Milwaukee area. That's where Pewaukee is, Rich, in case you were wondering.
You've got to play hockey.
Milwaukee.
You've got to play hockey growing up if you're from Wisconsin and Minnesota. You know that, Kevin.
I grew up in Green Bay, and I played hockey. That's what you do. You sit around and watch everybody get cold. Here's the kickoff. after a 37-yard Bullock field goal. Fitzpatrick with 2 touchdown passes. Joseph with an interception. Here comes Watt. 2:20.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by new Amazon Fire TV Stick, the most powerful streaming stick. And by Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is here, now through January 5th.
Tonight on CBS, Simon Baker is back for the final season of The Mentalist. Tonight after Madam's Secretary. Only CBS. We had a shot of Watt there. They're saying 2:20. That's what he was. You take a look at the offense for both these two teams in the first half. Complete domination so far by the Texans. Watt was 2:20 when he was about midway through college. Now he weighs 289. And he has not lost a step. Mettenberger 1st and 10. Green with the block. And they go outside. Walker with the drop in the coverage by Kendrick Lewis. It's 2nd down and 10.
Well, you just can't have it. Kevin, you mentioned the time of possession. Texans have already had 21 more plays than the Titans. And you've got a young quarterback. Everybody's got to step up and make a play. And you can't expect, you got to expect Delaney Walker to be able to make that catch.
You know, it's interesting, Rich, when you said that. I looked down here. Their number 32 are the Titans in number of offensive plays they run a game. Dead last in the league. They just don't get off that many.
No, they're not running it. They get behind in the down and distance, and they've struggled on 3rd down with the rookie quarterback.
A cluster on 2nd and 10 outside, getting a block there from Hunter, and then brought down by Jamal Roll. And picked up on the play defensively. Gain of 5 to the 25.
Okay, when you mentioned 3rd down, it's been a real hurdle for this team, and I'm not surprised when you consider the changes at quarterback and the fact that you are starting a rookie. Currently dead last in 3rd down, converting a league low 29%.
29%.
29%. That's why we talk about time of possession. Let's talk about Texans have already run 21 more plays here in the first half.
Washington is in. 5 in the secondary, 3rd and 5. And they've got Wright. And he was down when he caught it, but got the 1st down to the 32. Picks up 8 on the play, and they'll move the chains.
Well, they're going to see a lot of man-to-man coverage, a lot of 5-man rush, and it's a really nice throw here by Zach Mettenberger. Right, trying to make a play, but he's already down.
Roll was over there, covering on the play, 1st and 10. We've reached the 2-minute warning in Houston. Fitzpatrick with a couple of touchdown passes. Coming up from New York, the Verizon Halftime Report with JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowers. Scores, news, highlights, a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. The Verizon Halftime Report. 2-minute warning, 1st and 10. Tennessee 2 timeouts. McCluster in the backfield. Svicek the block on Watt. Time for Mettenberger, and he's got Wright, who's brought down by Daryl Morris. And they work the ball to the 41. A 27-yard pickup, and a late flag is thrown at the 40. So Wright with the 2nd catch on the drive. First one was for 8. This one for 27. See what that flag is all about.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Taunting, number 13 in the offense. 15-yard penalty. It will still be a 1st down.
You know, when you're 2-9, you've lost 5 straight. I just don't know if there's a lot of boasting you can do.
Man, I can't. That's amazing, Kevin. What a terrific play here by Zach Mettenberger. Sits in there, finds right up the field. Now, he doesn't like the fact that he gets hauled down from behind by Morris, and so he's going to get up and do something about it. I mean, that's...
Into the nickel on 1st and 10, Mettenberger. There's Washington. All down that time by A.J. Boyer. Thrown down like a bag of potatoes to the 49-yard line, and Houston picks up 7 yards.
Yeah, look, they're in the middle of a 2-minute drill now. You got players that are jawing with other defensive players. Keep your mind on your work.
3 new starters on that offensive line today for Mettenberger. 2nd down, 3. Here comes Watt. Look out. Got it away. Incomplete. Looking for McCluster. Covered by Boyer. at the bottom around his ankles, wrapping himself number 99, and it's an incomplete pass.
Boy, it was close. I don't think J.J. realizes it, but you look at J.J. Watt, he's right here. I mean, they've done a nice job moving him around. He's going to work on Svitek, and of course, he's been beating him outside. Now he swims under, and Mettenberger has the wherewithal just to throw it away and avoid the sack.
Watt wanted them to throw a challenge flag, but it's reviewable under 2 minutes from the press box, from the NFL booth. So there's no need to throw a challenge. It is a booth review under 2 to play in each half.
Well, the question is a couple things here. First of all, is his knee down? And the other question is did Jeff Triplett blow it dead? And he didn't. The question is whether his knee is down before he lets go of this ball. Yep, I think that knee is down. I think they're going to call that a sack.
It should be number 10.
J.J. Watt will love that. 10.5, right?
So Watt, I asked you this in the top of the broadcast about, where he is in context, and Jeff Triplett has easily got this deciphered. He'll tell us about it here. A beautiful day in Houston, Texas.
After reviewing the play, ruling on the field was reversed. The quarterback is down by contact at the 37-yard line in the middle of the field. Houston is elected to take a timeout to keep the clock from starting.
So Houston is taking a timeout. That means they've got 2 remaining. The ball back at the 37. They lose 14 yards. And now the official saying that Houston called the timeout. Stop the clock. 1:13.
Well, you've got a situation, Kev. You don't want to obviously don't want to give the ball back to the Houston Texans. You don't want an incompletion here. Certainly not a sack or negative play. I always think in this situation defensively, I'm thinking screen or draw.
3rd and 17. They need the Texan 46. Mettenberger. Oh, and he had his receiver too, Washington. It's incomplete. Coverage across the way by Lewis. Underneath, they had a little coverage by Morris. 4th and 17, they got a punt.
Well, J.J. Watt has been close a couple times working on the left tackle. Will Svitek. Mettenberger has saved him a couple times, stepping up, avoiding some sacks. Now they move him over to the other side and finally gets one. He has been all over the place.
Kern with the punt, and it's not very long nor high. Here comes Keyshawn Martin at the 19-yard line. Hit by Stafford, stays on his feet, as you can see. There's Jackie Battle. He brings him down. Jackie Battle from the Houston area, growing up and playing high school at Humble High School. It's a 44-yard punt and 11-yard return. So Fitzpatrick will have all 3. They initially said that Houston had taken a timeout, and they were wrong. All 3 timeouts remain for the Texans, who lead on 2 Fitzpatrick touchdown passes early in the game. One set up by a Joseph interception. How do you manage this, Rich, if you're taking a look at it now from your 30 and trying to build upon your lead?
Well, you always, obviously you're playing with the house's money, Kevin. Up 17-0. I mean, field goal here would be huge. I always think about starting these 2-minute drives with the completion. Screens are always good, particularly when you got a back like Arian Foster.
1st and 10. Fitzpatrick going deep. The receiver fell. The flags are flying. Bleedy Ray Wilson looked like he banged into Hopkins somewhere, maybe even tackled him, but anyway, both went down. That's a penalty flag on the Tennessee Titans.
They went for it. Took a shot there.
Pass interference. Defense number 25. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
And you see up top, little double move. Stutters him, and then of course, well, he did the only thing he could do. He had to do that. It's a smart play by Bleedy Ray Wilson. If not, it's going to be a touchdown.
That's right. They're at the 42. It's a 12-yard penalty. 1st and 10. Going deep again. He's got Hopkins, and there he goes. What a throw and what a catch! DeAndre Hopkins has just hauled in a 58-yard touchdown pass from Ryan Fitzpatrick, beating Bleedy Ray Wilson. It's Fitzpatrick's third touchdown pass today.
Well, they take a shot, and again, they get him on a double post. They've got two receivers going down the field to the post, and they're going after this near safety. Fitzpatrick has to step up inside, and look at them attack the safety. The safety has to declare, am I going to take the first crosser, or am I going to take the second one to the post? In that case, he guesses wrong.
Fitzpatrick has thrown touchdown passes to three different receivers. 58 right there to Hopkins, his fifth touchdown reception. The extra point makes it a 24-0 Houston Texans lead over the Titans. How about Hopkins today? 5 catches, 117 yards. Launched by Fitzpatrick, hauled in by Hopkins.
What a throw! Touchdown!
How did he do it?
Rodgers going up top.
Oh, what a grab!
Can you believe it?
It is unbelievable.
Coming up next, they've never faced each other in the same game. Rodgers and Packers played in Foxborough a couple years ago, but Matt Flynn was the quarterback as Rodgers was suffering from concussion-like symptoms, so did not play, and it was late in the season. But they'll meet today up at Lambeau and on CBS. That is the talk of the league coming into this weekend of play. Some people think a preview of the Super Bowl. The ensuing kickoff. And taking it out will be Bishop Sankey. Trying to rip it out there. It looked like was one of the upmen. It's a 28-yard return by Sankey, and Swearinger was in there. And a flag is thrown, a very late flag thrown at the 35. Eddie Pleasant may have been the one who got him, but the field judge there is going to tell Trippett what he saw.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 57 of the return team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Justin Staples, as you take a look at Fitzpatrick, and when we talked to him on Friday, Rich, I noticed a little bit of agitation in his voice.
Yeah, I think Bill O'Brien's got to be really pleased with how Ryan Fitzpatrick has responded. He wasn't happy with the demotion. He said he didn't agree with coach's decision, but he really worked. You know, he spent the part of this time, Kevin, he went back and watched the Patriots, all their games. He did everything he could to try and get himself better. And you look at how he's playing. He's playing some inspired football. 14 of 18, 3 touchdowns, and 180 yards here in the first half.
Texans will have 6 in their secondary. 2 timeouts for Tennessee from a 14 first and 10. Mettenberger. C-Tech does his job. That's a little bit high. It's deflected and almost picked off by Boyer. Could not get it on the ricochet. Remember, this Texan defense, number 1 in takeaways this season. With one earlier on a pick by Joseph, they now have 25 takeaways as a defense.
A little bit high here. Mettenberger's got a big-time arm. I mean, I think you can see the ball spin out of his hands, but he's missed a couple throws high now, and that one could have easily been intercepted by Boyer.
Well, that's what Wisnett was telling us. He said, you know, people say he's like Roethlisberger, but he thought he had a better arm than Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger's got a pretty good arm. That's saying something.
I should say.
For a guy that's worked with both quarterbacks.
2nd down and 10, held there, and here's a nice throw to Wright, who is met by Muhammad and whacked by Swearinger on a gain of 9, making it about 3rd and 1. Thought that Roethlisberger was more athletic perhaps, but this kid had a better arm.
Yeah, I think, you know, you look at him, and I think he's just learning how to play the position. I think one of the things he needs to be better with is his ball placement and his accuracy. He's missed some throws. But I think he's got a bright future in this league.
Ken Whisenant, of course, was a former coach with Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. All right, in this game, a Joseph interception, 3 Fitzpatrick touchdown passes, and trying to get to 500 for the 4th time this year. The Texans shutting out the Titans at halftime. Deep again, he's got Hopkins, and there he goes! And there he goes is right. 3 touchdown passes by Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's our story. Let's take a look now at the Bows game changer. Fitzpatrick with Hopkins moments ago.
Yeah, this is a terrific throw and catch here. a big shot play down the field. Ryan Fitzpatrick, a terrific first half, Kevin. 3 touchdowns, very efficient in his first start in a couple weeks.
You know, Rich, almost as perfect a half as a team could craft.
Yeah, really, everything they wanted to do. They came out, they started fast, they ran the ball, took control of the line of scrimmage. They did what they had to do defensively, come up with a turnover. I think if you're the Tennessee Titans, you've got to be just beside yourself right now. Not an ideal scenario on the road behind 24-0 with the rookie quarterback. But the key, Kevin, the game plan can change. It should change early. They've got to stay to the game plan. I think it's coming out, running the football, having some balance. You've got 3 new starters along the offensive line. They cannot afford to throw the ball 40 times here in the second half.
Through 30 minutes of football, these are some of our numbers here in the first half.
Third down has been a big story. You know, the Titans have struggled. Look at the Houston Texans. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 7 of 7 on third down. 6 of them have gone for first downs. And they've been manageable situations. That's been the difference, Kevin, between the Texans and the Titans. Manageable, convertible situations on third down.
He's not been sacked. Speaking of Ryan Fitzpatrick, who comes in taking the place of Ryan Mallett, who was knocked out after tearing a pectoral muscle and out for the rest of the year. The kickoff to get things started here in the second half. Touchback over Sankey to the 20-yard line. Well, both these teams, Rich, need quarterbacking, and wondering if you're seeing next year's quarterback on this field now for either team.
I mean, that's the big question that we've got to find out. I mean, Mallett, of course, Kevin, he's out, so we're not going to be able to really get a good gauge of where he's at. Of course, this is a great opportunity for Zach Mettenberger. I'm not so sure that the starting quarterback for the Texans and the Titans next year is on either of these teams. It's a lot of uncertainty with both of these coaching staffs.
It's a 1st and 10 handoff. The Titans and stacked up and brought down, you name it, they were in on that tackle, including Justin Tuggle, who starts today. It is a loss of a yard on the play by Sean Green. He'll be back at about the 19.
And, you know, visiting with Ken Wisenhunt last night, they're optimistic. They're hopeful that Zach Mettenberger can be that guy. He has gotten better each week. Now you've got to find out, how does he process information and game plans, decision making, his ability to recognize defenses and make substitute and situational changes. Can they take the coaching points from one week to the next? That's all part of the evaluation process with a young quarterback.
Second down, long 10, looking deep, and it's incomplete for Hagan. Flag is thrown on the play. Darrell Morris, who is playing a bit for Kareem Jackson, was on the coverage.
This is what the Titans have to do. You have to go after the cornerbacks on the left. Bouye and Morris. Stay away from Jonathan Joseph. Go after the young guys, the inexperienced guys on your left. They're right.
Mettenberger, the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, is from Athens, Georgia. His mom is Mark Richt's secretary, and he began at Georgia.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference, number 80 of the offense. Pass interference, number 26 of the defense. By rule, those penalties offset. Repeat, second down.
They'll play it again.
There's just an example, Kevin, of 2 guys not getting along. Not playing nice. I mean, you got both of them pushing, just trying to make a play on the ball. It's been that type of game for the Titans.
Has it ever been more difficult to play defensive back in the NFL than it is right now?
Well, yeah. I mean, with all the rule changes, you know, you can't grab these guys. You can't, after 5 yards, can't hit the quarterback high. You can't hit him low. It's hard.
5 defensive backs, McCluster in the backfield. Second down and 10. Long 10. Stingley knocked out Watt. It's bobbled and reeled in at a first down catch. Derek Hagan at about the 40. Had a couple guys around him, including Roll. Gain of 20.
In fairness to Zach Mettenberger, Kevin, they've had a couple drops today. Even this one by Hagan, he kind of double clutches it. Again, doing a good job here. You see Stingley on the right side, just making him work the edge. Just difficult for J.J. Watt.
Cluster, who came as a free agent from Kansas City on 1st and 10, merciless, brings him down. Gain of 4 up to the 43-yard line.
I think it's really important here. They've got to be able to run the football some. Just 36 yards on the ground in their first meeting in Week 8. Whether it's McCluster or Sankey, got to be able to run the ball in the early downs.
Well, the running backs, you mentioned this last night, averaging less than 4 yards a carry.
Top 3 running backs all averaging less than 4 yards a carry. It's a huge problem.
Can't do it. Second and a long 6. He's got Hagan again. Belted out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. Whacked there by Kendrick Lewis. 19-yard gain by Hagan, who left the Pac-10 at that time at Arizona State as the #1 all-time receiver.
I've been really impressed with the way Mettenberger throws the football down the field. He's got some good touch. Kevin, you and I saw him in his first ever appearance in a Titans uniform in the first preseason game against the Packers. And I remember being impressed with him that night and the pouring rain down there in Nashville.
It's McCluster on 1st and 10. Watt wraps his arms around his waist, brought down about the 36, a gain of 2. It's interesting with Mettenberger because he's got so much to deal with and so much to process. What you've talked about from the time they break huddle, now he's in the no huddle. What he's got to decipher in just a short amount of time.
It's a lot on a young quarterback, and I think he's handled it well. I mean, one of the things that Ken Wisenhunt said is he's very good at processing information at the line of scrimmage.
Petrie the block, it's a second down and 8, and he's got his receiver, and Wright has taken it into the end zone for a touchdown. Lewis was back there, Jamal Roll was back there, a 36-yard strike by Mettenberger. And the Tennessee Titans are on the board.
This is a really nice job. First and foremost, he's going to do a good job holding the safety with his eyes, and then he throws a dart down the field. Safety going back to the middle. But look at this throw by Mettenberger. I mean, it is a perfect throw between the corner and the safety. And there he's showing off that arm talent.
He looked terrific on that one. 6-play, 80-yard drive, under 3 minutes. Exactly the kind of second-half start the Tennessee Titans were looking for. With the extra point by Suckup, making it 24-7. Mettenberger on that drive, 3 of 3. He found his top receiver, Kendall Wright, with a laser 36 yards away. LSU rookie Zach Mettenberger was 3 of 3 on that drive, 75 yards, hit Hagan for some big catches of 20 and 19, then eventually capping it off with a 36-yard touchdown pass to Kendall Wright out of Baylor. And they're on the board. And the ensuing kickoff by Suckup over the head of Daniel Manning and out of bounds to the 20-yard line with the Texan 1st and 10. Fitzpatrick today, 3 touchdown passes himself.
Yeah, Kevin, he looked really sharp from the get-go, mixing in the run, the pass, and finding his tight end. And then, of course, the back out of the backfield, Arian Foster, a couple big plays, and this was the shot that was heard throughout the stadium. Big-time throw down the field to wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Terrific first half for Fitzpatrick, 14 of 18, 3 touchdowns, 180 yards.
Couple tight ends here with the 1st and 10. Arian Foster hit by Casey, an all-pro a season ago, losing a yard back to the 19-yard line. We haven't talked much about the Titan defense today because they've been hit, but this is a defense which has struggled against the run all season long.
Well, they've struggled against the run, no question about that. But they're on the field way too much, Kevin. You know, you look at the first half and time of possession was a big story. They've already played 775 snaps coming into today's game, second most in the league.
Wow.
And, you know, 136 more snaps than the Steelers have on defense. I mean, they're averaging over 70 plays a game.
Foster 2nd 11, nice stop right there. Foster's thrown back for a loss of 4. Got a couple there making the stop, including Sammy Hill and others. Ray Horton is the defensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. Great reputation, but using a new defense with personnel that were not made for what he wants to do.
You're right, Kevin. He's a really good coordinator, well respected in league circles. He's trying to play a 3-4 defense, really with 4-3 personnel. They don't have all the players that they need yet, particularly at that linebacker position.
There's a 3rd and 15 for Fitzpatrick outside. Andre Johnson looking for blocking. He gets it from Newton on one side, from his tight end Griffin, and he gets the first down. Out to the 31-yard line, brought down by George Wilson. It's a catch and run of 16 yards and a Texan first down against the Ray Horton-led defense of Tennessee.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. 3rd and 15, and all you do is throw a little bubble screen out to Andre Johnson, and look at the blocks down the field. That's huge. That big tackle out front, Derek Newton. Ryan Griffin gets a critical block.
Boy, on third down, Fitzpatrick has been great today, Rich.
8 of 8. 7 have gone for first downs.
Number 31. Slowed it down the sideline for Andre Johnson. So stride for stride that time with Jason McCourty. Incomplete, second down and 10. And a look at the first half resume of the Texans today.
Yeah, pretty impressive, right? You talk about getting off to a good start. 14 plays, 80 yards. You look at scoring 4 of the first 5 possessions. You get a 3 and out there mixed in the middle. But other than that, Kevin, it was a strong first half for the Texans on offense.
O'Brien, who was at Penn State before that with the New England Patriots. That's why when you're talking back in the first half, Fitzpatrick was watching a Patriot tape.
Absolutely, and I think Bill O'Brien really likes Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Second and 10. Oh, he was drilled, but he got the ball away. Caught by Johnson. He was hit by the rookie Williamson, and the gain is to about the 37-yard line. And it's a gain of 5 on that throw.
Well, Avery Williamson is unblocked. He comes clean to the quarterback. And the thing I like about Fitzpatrick, he's a tough guy. He's willing to sit in there and take the hit. Still make a good, accurate throw down the field. It's a good hit by Avery Williamson.
The correct way to hit a quarterback, right?
Perfect form tackle.
Yep. 3rd and 5. Here they go with Foster.
Another good tackle.
Jarrell Casey, who else? He makes the stop and throwing him for a loss of a yard on the play, bringing up 4th down and 6, and they'll have to punt.
This was big. They score on their first possession offensively, get a big stop there. You mentioned Jarrell Casey, Kevin. He's their best defensive player. He's a handful up front, very active. Plays the run especially well.
Here is the punt by Leckler, Rich's old teammate with the Oakland Raiders. And I use the word old. Here comes McCluster, who is drilled on the play with a nice hit from special teamer Max Bulla. 3 carries all in a row, losing yards. Foster. Casey authors that one for the Titan D.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Game of War. Play free now. And by Honda, where you can get great deals during Happy Honda Days.
That's the beer can house. Good part of that job was the making of the product. Making sure you had all those cans empty. 1st and 10. From the 38 after 6 plays and punt by the Texans. Into the nickel, Mettenberger. Moves up nicely. And on the move, incomplete for Wright. He had a couple around him, including Swearinger. It's 2nd down and 10.
Well, let's take a look at Zach Mettenberger. Look, he's staring down the safety the whole way on the first throw. Never feels the safety come over. He makes the play, and Jonathan Joseph gets the interception. Now the second one, again, he holds the safety with his eyes, and he's able to fit this one in up the seam to Kendall Wright. That's a good adjustment on the fly by the rookie quarterback.
And down and 10 to fake the Sankey. Here they go now with Wright looking for a block. Svitek is down, so he's doing it on his own, and he dives into the grasp of Roll at about the 45, and Mettenberger is down. Not good.
Well, he got drove right to the ground. I mean, J.J. Watt's going to ride him right down to the ground and then kind of sandwiches him, and he lands right on that right shoulder.
Collarbone or his shoulder.
It does look like a collarbone. It's
see, and Wizen, I'm saying, listen, the ball was gone, and you drilled him into the ground unnecessarily. But there was no yellow on the play. There was no flag. Moments ago, got him, drove him. Timeout, and 8:48 in the 3rd. They're looking over Mettenberger. He was driven hard into the ground on a hit after a throw. Jake Locker, the number 8 overall pick a handful of years ago. 3rd and 3 comes in. He began the season as the starter. Outside, picked off by Roll. And down he goes. He was signed in early October from the Green Bay practice squad. Locker throws a pass, and he's got the quick pick. his 5th of the year. On a 3rd and 3, the Texans' 13th consecutive game with a takeaway. Only the Packers have a longer active streak.
Well, look at his eyes. He's going to start to his left initially, and then he works back to his right. See him look to his left, and he's a little bit late coming back. Again, the pass rush, and he never feels the corner slip back underneath it.
That's the 3rd interception by Roll. You can see the discomfort of Mettenberger, whether it's a collarbone or a shoulder. It's not good. I think he's heading to the locker room. He is.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Yep.
He really was throwing the ball well. Kevin was playing well and trying to bring his team back, and now he's got a shoulder injury.
They're going to review the interception. Let's watch. Did Jamal Roll get this? He had an. Oh, yeah. Did he hold on? Yep, he sure did. Got his arm under it. 8:21 in the 3rd.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cialis. And by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today.
Reviewing
After
the interception.
review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is an interception. 1st and 10, Houston.
And it's good. Roll now has 3 interceptions. He had 2 against Sanchez and Philadelphia a couple weeks ago here. And he just picks off Jake Locker on his first pass, taking the place of the injured Zach Mettenberger.
He's got his eyes on him the whole way.
Short field, 37 of Tennessee. 1st and 10, Fitzpatrick outside. Andre Johnson dancing with McCourty.
Oh, that ball's
Strip the
out.
ball, it's loose. Here comes McCourty. It's a foot race. Foster coming from the angle, and there he goes for 6. Jason McCourty strips him of the ball, rolls the other way, and a 63, make it a 65-yard touchdown on a fumble recovery.
Wow, they just kick it out. They're one short. They don't want to run it. They throw it out to Andre Johnson, and McCourty's right there. He starts ripping it out, and now that ball is clearly coming out. McCourty has the wherewithal to pick it up and take it all the way back for 6. A huge, huge play by the Titans defense.
Terrific play by McCourty, a 6th-year player out of Rutgers. He was a 6th-round selection. And now the extra point by Ryan Suckup to bring it just a little bit closer. With 8:07 to play in the 3rd, it was 24-0 Houston. So 14 unanswered by Tennessee. A 58-yard touchdown pass from Mettenberger and a fumble recovery by veteran Jason McCourty, racing 65 yards the other way.
Just their 15th takeaway all season, their 4th fumble recovery, but it comes at a great time. So they needed something good to happen after that interception from Locker.
With a look at Andre Johnson, who fumbles for a 3rd time this season, and he has lost all 3. Well, Week 13 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood One Radio. Boomer Esiason and I will be in the Meadowlands for the Dolphins and Jets tomorrow night. So Johnson coughs it up. McCourty goes the other way. And with their starting quarterback gone and Mettenberger and the replacement Locker, who they thought was going to be the guy, but quickly lost that position with injury and ineffective play, now in the saddle. The ensuing kickoff by Suckup. Danielle Manning. He'll leave it there. Rich, you've been a part of games where there's a change in momentum and you're the heavy underdog coming into a game and things have not gone right and you try to recollect yourself. What's the feeling in a game like this with plenty of time remaining?
Sometimes, Kevin, it just takes one big play. You know, by the defense or by the special teams, you're struggling a little bit offensively, and it's a big play like that that can help change the momentum and get you back into a football game. Now, if you're the Houston Texans, you got to take a deep breath. You've been playing well offensively. You've got to put that play behind you and move on.
This is Foster, who has 3 consecutive negative runs. tries to carve something here. Derek Morgan hit him first. It is a gain of 3, and he's up to about the 24.
You know, you take away the first quarter, and Tennessee has played a lot better, played the run a lot better, especially on the early downs. Most of Arian Foster's production has been on that first drive.
They got 4 wide here, including Keyshawn Martin and Damaris Johnson. Second down and 7. They go for Hopkins, who's quickly hit on the play by Brandon G. Spun down. Looks like he's got enough for the first down. Gets to the 31-yard line. It is a gain of 8. Move the chains.
I really like DeAndre Hopkins. He's kind of the big play threat now. Kevin, 51 receptions, a little over 800 yards coming into today's game, averaging almost 16 yards a catch. He's got top-end speed at the wide receiver position.
First and 10, Foster coming back after missing a couple of games with a groin strain. Stiff arms his way into Wilson, out of bounds about the 33 on a gain of 2. When you look at Foster, and you mentioned Marcus Allen, but I think it was Ray Horton last night who said that he's kind of the AFC's version of Matt Forte in the NFC with the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely, Kevin. We got a chance to see Matt Forte a couple weeks ago. I mean, he's a talented player. They have similar running styles. They're upright runners. They're very, very, I think what the comparison is what they do in the passing game. Good blockers and very good out of the backfield.
Martin on second down and 8. Foot race now. Bleedy Ray Wilson chases him down from behind. The catch about the 36. He picks up 32. And it's a first down.
Just a little slant route. You see Martin is able to make a defender miss. Missed tackles continue to plague this Tennessee defense. 17 of them last week against Philadelphia, and 7 of them were on third down.
Foster on first down and 10 with a block from Newton. He takes it down with a tackle made by Bleedy Ray Wilson about the 27-yard line of Tennessee, gain of 9.
When you look at last week against Philadelphia, this was driving Ray Horton crazy all week. Too many missed tackles, poor angles, guys not playing gap control, poor execution. They weren't disciplined enough last week in their fits, in their run support. And it gets back to, good defenses tackle well at or around the line of scrimmage.
Derek Newton was shaken up, but they did not stop the clock, and he's back in there. Newton, 2-year full-time starter, 4 years out of Arkansas State at that right tackle. Like you said, this has been an injury-free offensive line. Only 1 missed game by any of the 5 linemen all year. Second down, 1. Foster bumps into Brown, his left tackle, and down he goes. Wilson was right there, the former wide receiver George Wilson at Arkansas, and he loses about 7 back to the 33-yard line, 34-yard line.
Just watch Avery Williamson blow this thing up, Kevin. Running right through these gaps. And that's what's forcing Arian Foster to have to bounce runs to the edge. Starting to bring those linebackers in those A and B gaps.
Foster 17 carries and 56 yards. It's third down and 8. Houston is 8 of 12 on third down today. He's looking for Hopkins. Got him! Touchdown! And he beat Brandon G. A 34-yard touchdown pass. And Ryan Fitzpatrick has thrown 4 touchdown passes today.
Boy, speed. And that's what he gives you. Speed up the boundary, DeAndre Hopkins. Working on G.
Hopkins caught one earlier for 58, that for 34. That sums up a 7-play, 80-yard drive. 3:27 on the third quarter clock, and Fitzpatrick with a career high in the 4 touchdown passes. As we mentioned before, his 3rd team in 3 years, and ironically enough, doing it today to a team that he started for a portion of last season. The extra point, Bullock is away and through, and the Texans extend their lead. 4:40 in the third. Hopkins, 7 catches. Fitzpatrick, 4 touchdown passes. DeAndre Hopkins was a first-round pick out of Clemson last year. Career high season after his 52 receptions a season ago for over 800 yards. He's closing in on 1,000, only 197 away coming into today, now 40 yards away from 1,000. Sankey gets it. Well, it's Conference Championship Saturday on CBS. First, 4 p.m. Eastern, SEC champion number 1. Alabama will take on Missouri. Bama hanging on to beat Auburn. Then, at 10 Eastern, it's the Mountain West Championship, Fresno State against Boise State. All next week on CBS Sports. Walker is the quarterback. Mettenberger, we're told, as we saw, right shoulder injury. Uncertain of his return. McCluster, gets a nice block up ahead from right. There was a gigantic hole. He's brought down by Roll. He bursts for 10, and he's got a Tennessee first down.
McCluster's a guy, Kevin, that they were really high on coming into the season. Hasn't quite put up the numbers, but he's a multi-dimensional player. Can run it, and of course he's quite the weapon out of the backfield when you line him up in the slot.
Hagan, the third receiver, and now Justin Hunter will find out if there's a problem with him. He was injured earlier in the game. Locker, 1st and 10. Underneath, Delaney Walker, who thought he'd be a much bigger presence. Roll makes a stop. Mike Muhammad there. Gain of 6. That is Delaney Walker's first reception to the 36-yard line.
And that's a problem, Kevin, when he has just 1 catch. I mean, he was coming off of a terrific game last week against Philadelphia. He had a career-high 155 receiving yards with just 5 catches. He needs to be more involved here in the second half.
It's 2nd down and 4. McCluster again. Nice block inside provided by Warmack. It is a gain of 5, and he's up to the 41-yard line. Couple there with the stop, including Jamison. Delaney Walker was a terrific high school and part-time college track and field athlete. He says, that's where my extra burst comes once I catch the ball. Let's see if we can see any of it on this drive. 1st and 10. Walker, McCluster, brought down immediately by Kendrick Lewis. Former teammates in Kansas City together to the 47-yard line with a gain of 6.
Well, Kevin, when one door closes, another one opens. Look at Jake Locker. I mean, he gets an opportunity now. Who knows what happens here the next 4 weeks? I mean, he's got a chance to show Ken Wisenhunt and the staff that maybe he is the guy.
Well, what have you thought about Locker when you've watched him play? We saw him opening weekend in Kansas City.
Injuries have prevented and really hampered his development. I think you haven't really gotten a chance to get a good feel for his body of work because he's always hurt.
Cluster on 2nd down and 4, brought down initially by John Simon, who's out of Ohio State, signed from the Baltimore practice squad early October. He throws him for a loss of 2, and a player is down for Tennessee. Warmack, we just talked about him. Their number 1 pick out of Alabama a season ago.
Well, he's pulling, and then he's going to get rolled up on from behind. You see, right at the end there, you see Simon come in and roll up on the back of his left leg. Well, you hate to see that. They're so beat up right now. You look at Svitek, the left tackle's in there. Spencer's in there. Stingley's in there. You're without Orr and Taylor Lewan and Brian Schwenke. All 3 out with injuries.
They've had 3 different quarterbacks this year. Oh, that's not good. 3 different quarterbacks this season. 3 different left tackles. Rich has just gone over the different
That's a problem.
names. And I mean, where does a consistency for your receivers who are working on timing? All of it.
I got a kick out of what Ken Wisenhunt had to say last night. You asked him, he said, have you ever been in a situation where you started 3 different quarterbacks and 3 different left tackles? He said, yeah, 1 year in Arizona, and that's why I'm coaching in Tennessee. I mean, and that's what happens. You know, the left tackle, it's hard to throw the football. And if you're continually changing quarterbacks, and that's been a problem, Kevin, really with both of these organizations. No consistency, production, and stability at the most important position, and that's quarterback. Hard to function in this league.
Eric Olson now is going to come in, and he'll play the left guard 5 years out of Notre Dame. A game earlier this year with New Orleans. He's been with Pittsburgh, Redskins, Denver. He's now in there. So he's a veteran, 5 years, 3rd down and 7. With McCluster remaining in the backfield.
And Kevin, all of these players right here, they know that there's a number of starters out along that offensive line.
Well, there goes the guy that just came in. As you see.
And that's Levitri.
False start, number 67 in the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Olsen and Levitri move at the same time, and Levitri last week allowed 3 sacks to the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Man, these guys are just ready to tee off, right? When you're ahead in games and you've got a bunch of guys that are hurt, this is where the sacks show up. This is where the opportunities to rush the passer really present themselves.
There are 6 in the secondary for the Texans, 3rd and 12. They need the Houston 49. Locker. Oops is right. Coming through Jamison. Coming through Simon. There was an avalanche of Texan defenders, and they bring him down. Sacked on the play, back at the 25, losing 14. They got a punt.
Well, Watt's going to come up the field, but Jamison's coming back around. And what happens is Watt gets him to have to step up. That's been the common theme all day. He steps right into the hands of Jamison. Speed off the edge and push up inside. Get it done for the Houston Texans.
It's a punt by Kern. Keyshawn Martin is back, waving for the fair catch, which is made at the 26 and a hang time of 4-9. 48-yarder by Kern, and a good job there. The Texans came into today 5-6. They had lost 2 of 3. Second place in the AFC South, 2 games in back of Indy, and on the outside looking in, as we can see.
Yeah, they're facing a win or stay home scenario for the playoffs the rest of the season. 10 AFC teams, Kevin, have a winning record, as you point out. I mean, they've kind of got themselves behind the 8 ball here, but who knows? And of course, a win here today gets them back to 500 with some winnable games. They've got Jacksonville, Indy, Baltimore, and Jacksonville once again in Week 17.
27-yard line, 1st and 10. Blue. Brought down by a former first-round pick out of Georgia Tech, Derek Morgan. No gain on the play. They stay at the 27.
Well, Tennessee is going to force Houston to throw the football. They're not going to allow them to run it. It's almost as if every snap they have one extra defender down there around the line of scrimmage.
Starters all in there on the offensive line for Houston. Blue remains, 2nd and long 9.
Hey, 59's the mic. 59's the mic.
59 is Woodard.
Look how close those safeties are.
Fitzpatrick low and on a bounce for Andre Johnson. Coverage across the way by Griffin and others.
Now, as well as Fitzpatrick has played today, Kevin, he has missed some throws low. Trying to figure out as I watch his footwork and his mechanics. Remember, he started the game missing a couple throws low to DeAndre Hopkins. He had to scoop a couple of them up.
But he wasn't low to Hopkins on a 34-yarder and a 58-yarder. Both touchdown passes.
Oh, he wasn't.
Oh, no.
He was right on the screws.
Griffin, 8 yards, and Foster caught a 7-yard. 4 touchdown passes today by
He's having a good day.
Yeah.
Against his former team.
3rd and a long 9. 6 defensive backs. Hit as he throws through the hands of Griffin. Incomplete. Coverage by Wilson. And they got a punt again. 3 and out. Why is footwork such a difficult thing for quarterbacks who practice it, it seems like, year-round? What complicates that process? Because you talk about lack of footwork a lot.
Yeah, if the protection was great every time back, Kevin, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's usually not. There's things that come into play. You know, you get push up inside. You got to be able to reset your feet. You got to be able to shuffle. You have to find a way to stay in rhythm. That's not easy at the quarterback position.
Locker is in there for Mettenberger. We're at the end of 3 in Houston on CBS. Tennessee Titans come in having lost 5 consecutive games. Houston is coming in 5-6. They've lost 2 of 3, 5 of 7. trying to stay relevant in the AFC South and the AFC playoff race in second place in 2 games and back of the Colts. After the punt for Houston, Locker going deep on 1st and 10. Punt by McCluster, but on the chalk. Out of bounds about the 35. With the coverage on the play by DJ Swearinger.
Well, you got to keep it on the field. I mean, this is what happens when you don't practice. You've got to play, but I learned a long time ago. I had a coach my first year in the league. He was very tough on me.
Who was that?
Bob Schnelker.
Oh,
he
my
coached
gosh.
on Vince
Yes.
Lombardi's staff, and he said to me one time in a meeting, he said, Rich, he says, passes that are completed out of bounds, they never count. Said it in a sarcastic tone, but the message was heard loud and clear. Keep the ball on the field and give these guys a chance to make a play.
Into the nickel, 2nd and 10. Locker hit as he throws. Oh, and Walker had found some space, and Locker helped to his feet. 3rd down and 10. Bob Schnelker, yeah, he was a gritty guy. Probably not the easiest coach to be under as a rookie quarterback.
He coached on Vince Lombardi's championship, Super Bowl championship teams, Super Bowl I and Super Bowl II. And I can remember dropping back in training camp, my very first training camp, and he would scream at me, throw it to the right, throw it, he's open. And my arm hurt the whole training camp because he kept on screaming at me every time I went to throw the football.
3rd down and 10.
They don't coach that way anymore, Kevin. Well, it's different.
Blitz. Locker.
Oh, geez, not on the same page.
There goes a flag, though, as Wright was downfield. Washington was held by A.J. Boye down the near side. The flag is at the 40-yard line.
There's no foul on the play for illegal contact. Fourth down.
And a punt for the Tennessee Titans.
You're probably going to say something. Wasn't a catchable ball, I suppose. I mean, you got a receiver running towards the boundary, and you've got Locker throwing the ball down the middle of the field. Nate Washington and Locker not on the same page versus the all-out blitz.
Titans at 2-9, going through one of their worst seasons since the '97 move. They opened the season too on such a wonderful note in Kansas City, opening day in Arrowhead, and beat the Chiefs. From that point on, though, it is unraveled. Lost 9 of 10. Here's the ensuing punt after the 3 and out. Keyshawn Martin, Groves, and Battle. Battle finishes him off. 58-yard punt, 10-yard return. Ryan Fitzpatrick has thrown 4 touchdowns today. 14-30 in the 4th. All right, CBSSports.com holiday. It's your place for all kinds of information and gift list answers at CBSSports.com. End around. Johnson. Whoop is right.
That hurts.
Morgan got him. Woodyard there. Help from Williamson. Lost back to the 19, losing 6.
Well, the one thing the Houston Texans have had offensively, Kevin, is balance. 27 runs and 27 passes so far. Bill O'Brien's done a nice job calling this game. A quarterback that was on the pine for a couple of weeks. He got him off to a good start. They got the running game going a little bit, although they've slowed down quite a bit here. Haven't had the success running the football here in the second half.
2nd down, 17, looking for Foster. Oh, knocked away beautifully by Williamson. He really read that well. Avery Williamson led the Kentucky Wildcats in his junior and senior seasons in tackles. A 5th-round pick out of UK. 3rd down.
A better throw here may get it done. This is pretty good coverage by Williamson. He just enough to put his hand up there and get a part of that football.
Foster's had the groin injury. Can you sense that maybe it's still lingering just a bit?
Well, you know, Kevin, you think about missing time. They're missing practice time. Even these veterans, you need the reps. And he's certainly missed some time here the last couple of weeks.
Woo! Weaving 3rd and 17. Got the first down. Brought down by Stafford. Man, as fast as it's out of my mouth, I guess that answers that. He was weaving his way and picks up 18 on 3rd and 17 and gets a first down.
Well, they get so much good push up front, and then he's going to wind out the back door. This zone scheme, you see the guard pull and kick out. Arian Foster's right back up on the linebackers, and then getting that great vision to be able to bounce the ball to the edge.
Griffin makes a stop on Foster here, coming up from his safety position after a gain of 4 to the 41.
been coming out a lot. They've been substituting him. Maybe trying to be smart with him, Kevin. It's his first game back. He's been coming out quite a bit here in the second half, and they've been giving him a blow with Alfred Blue.
He's on his way to another 1,000 yards. He had 822 coming into today. Six-year player out of the University of Tennessee. Second down and 6. Blue. And tackled on the play. Casey was right there. Loss of a yard. Back to the 40.
Then Arian Foster comes right back in. They want him in there on third down. He's a very good protector. He understands the protections. And as we've seen throughout the course of the game, he's so good out of the backfield. The passing game.
Stay tuned for the NFL Today update by LG G3, time permitting. Of course, coming up after this, Green Bay and New England from Lambeau. 3rd and 7. DeAndre Hopkins beat Bleedy Ray Wilson. Looking for a block, and he got that with a broken tackle downfield of Griffin. And then he's finally grabbed by McCourty. The block from his fellow receiver, Damaris Johnson. A 56-yard catch and run. It's 1st and goal. The Texans at the 4. Wow.
Well, they just run a crossing route, and Bleedy Ray Wilson gets a little bit of a rub, and that allows DeAndre Hopkins just to get clear in the secondary. Good anticipation by Ryan Fitzpatrick versus man-to-man.
1st and goal for Foster. Off his fingertips. Defended by Groves, who starts today at linebacker. It's incomplete. I'm just thinking about Hopkins, and we've talked a little bit about Andre Johnson today. What a tremendous mentor to have for a young receiver. Now it is only his 2nd year in Andre Hopkins.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point you bring up, because Andre Johnson does all the little things right. And well. He works at it. It's important to him. Very determined, very disciplined route runner. And DeAndre Hopkins has come in and learned from one of the best. 8 catches today for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns from Hopkins. He's having a career day against the Titans.
And he's over 1,000 for the season. 2nd and goal at the 4. Look at the time. What a catch! What a catch! Andre Johnson, only his 2nd touchdown reception in the last 19 games. And that time he lassoed a rocket from Fitzpatrick, who has just thrown his 5th touchdown pass today.
He's going to start him over in the back of the end zone, and Jason McCourty's late to get his eyes around and locate the ball, but a perfect throw here from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Watch him put everything into this thing.
Wow.
He put some mustard on that one. Andre Johnson has the strong hands and that leaping ability to make the play in the back corner of the end zone.
It's 2 yards away from becoming number 12 all-time in yards. The Bullock extra point makes it 38-14. 5, count them, 5 Fitzpatrick touchdown passes today. And he gets the veteran, someday maybe in Canton, Andre Johnson, for a quick 6. That is a look at the USS Texas battleship, launched back in May of 1912. Became the first battleship memorial museum in 1948. That's when the Houston Oilers were just a gleam in the eye of the late Bud Adams. Now they're in Tennessee as the Titans, and here they go with Bishop Sankey returning the kick. And knocked out of bounds on the play. 42-yard return. What a day for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Really amazing. Got it started with the tight end, Ryan Griffin. First series, comes back on the very next series. Touchdown to Arian Foster out of the backfield. And this is when he got the party started. DeAndre Hopkins, who's had a phenomenal day, 215 yards receiving. And then Andre Johnson for his 5th touchdown of the day for Fitzpatrick. Incredible day, 22 of 31, 334, 5 touchdowns. The first time he's ever thrown for 5 touchdowns in his 10-year career.
Warmack is back in. McCluster on 1st and 10. Washington with the block, and then an eventual tackle by DJ Swearinger. It is a gain of 7 as they kind of get a feel here for McCluster, seeing his most work out of the backfield this season today in Houston, as you take a look at Fitzpatrick, who's had a career day himself.
It's really amazing what he's been able to do, Kevin. And again, he just wasn't playing the last couple of weeks, was watching Ryan Mallett, but he's come in and he's really looked sharp right from the get-go. That was important for him to get off to that type of start.
A cluster 2nd down and 3. Swearinger again brings them down 47, close to a first down.
And people say, well, why can a guy like Fitzpatrick play so well today? I think all these quarterbacks, you look at Jake Locker, and I talk to you about this all the time, Kevin. What's hampered Fitzpatrick's development throughout his career is change. He's never really been in one system for more than a couple seasons. He's been on 5 different teams in 10 years. He's had to learn so many different systems, and that's tough. It's tough even on a veteran quarterback.
Good point. 1st and 10. Locker. Hit by Watt. That's a live ball. Here comes J.J. Kendall Wright gets him. Locker pushes him out of bounds. J.J. Watt has done it again. That is his 3rd forced fumble.
Oh, jeez.
My gosh.
Is this guy fun to watch or what?
Oh, man.
And, he has taken advantage of the tackle. He's just always around the football. And when it bounces on the ground, it always seems to bounce into his lap. He beats the tackle around the edge. He's able to get the right hand in there, and then he can score with it. We've seen that happen 4 times this year already. Scored twice on offense and twice on defense already this season.
Scoops it up like a shortstop and then runs the other way. A man 290 pounds.
MVP chant here.
Is there a question in your mind if he is the MVP as a defense, which we don't see very often in the NFL?
No, it's only happened twice with Alan Page back in the early 70s and with Lawrence Taylor, but certainly, Kevin, he's got to be in that conversation.
Fitzpatrick to Hopkins. He got it! Digging his way to the 1. Brought down by Sensabaugh. Knee was down, 23-yard pickup. Hopkins is having a day to remember.
And the Houston Texans just keep pouring it on, and why not go back to DeAndre Hopkins, who's red hot right now. He's catching everything thrown in his direction.
So Hopkins has over 1,000 yards receiving. There is J.J. Watt in the game. He'll be a fullback here with Blue ahead of him.
As productive as he's been, Kevin, you can now use him as a decoy. Everybody's focused on J.J. Watt.
He's in motion now. Fitzpatrick to Watt.
No!
Touchdown!
Oh, jeez.
He's done it again! J.J. Watt with a 1-yard touchdown reception. His 3rd offensive touchdown this year. He is unbelievable.
Well, they just put him in short motion. Again, they get the matchup. He is 6'7", and he's got long arms, and he works on this in practice every day. Kevin, you and I saw him out here 2 hours before the game working on catching these low throws, one-handed catches. He is an unbelievable athlete.
5 touchdowns he has scored this season. 5. Leads the league in tackles for loss. Leads the league in quarterback hurries. The Bullock extra point makes it 45-14. J.J. Watt is a one-man wrecking crew. Knocked the ball away, vacuums it in, then lassos this pass. On a dive, the former college tight end. Look at J.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago, a 2-time first-team All-Pro. The MVP talk is legit, and if anyone was ever going to win it, his resume this season is incredible.
He has been a game changer for the Houston Texans, Kevin. I mean, he's a guy that can do it all.
It's the ensuing kickoff by Bullock, and Sankey will retrieve it in the corner. Touchback to the 20. He's caught 3 touchdown passes this year.
Yeah, it started early in the season. Week 2 actually on the road in Oakland. He catches the first one easy. Then in week 11 against the Cleveland Browns, runs a little fade route, has the wherewithal to get both feet down in it. And of course, he runs a little flat route off of out of the backfield. He lined up as the fullback. They put him in short motion. And what they do is each week they put a package of plays in for him on Friday morning.
We got to go back to that because all those marks were, I think, done in the 40s when there were two-way players. The 1st and 10 handoff to McCluster. Roll gets him. Loss of a yard. Nice play by Jamal Roll. Let's take a look at all these guys.
Look at them all.
And two-way players were so big at that time, and the norm. And there were no face masks at that time.
Look at all the 40s, all of them. Except, of course, that guy in the middle there, J.J. Watt. He's been fun to watch.
You know, he plays like he plays back in the 40s. He would have been a great two-way player.
They should start using it more on offense. Why not?
Second down and 11. Kendall Wright finds a seam on the move. He's chased on the play and brought down by Daniel Manning. And chases him down after a catch and run of 34 to the 46-yard line of the Houston Texans. Wright has had a big day. Locker, since he's come in for the injured Mettenberger, 3 of 7, 28. Wright, 7 catches, 113 yards. Walker with the 1st and 10. It's Dexter McCluskey. Comes into his own blocker. Then brought down on the play by Jamison. Gain of 6. He's down to the 40.
Well, look at those numbers. 11.5 sacks, Kevin. Look at 17 tackles for loss. That leads the league. He's got an interception, 5 fumble recoveries, 2 defensive touchdowns, and now 3 offensive touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what more you've got to do. It. The problem is you're competing against guys like Manning and, of course, Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers has thrown 30 touchdowns and just 3 picks.
I agree.
Sometimes those big numbers that these quarterbacks put up overshadow the play of defensive players, but clearly J.J. Watt has been the best defensive player in football this season.
Second and 4, incomplete. Going to Hagan, 3rd and 4. Let's go back to New York. Boomer and James.
Up next on CBS.
Well, Kevin and Rich, you were talking about, here comes Tom Brady's 7-game winning streak. He's thrown for over 300 yards per game in that 7-game winning streak, and maybe the hottest quarterback in all of football. Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau, 425. JB, doesn't get any better than that, though.
Huge matchup, Boom. Back to Kevin and Rich.
And they don't paint the grass in Green Bay. It looks like straw. Probably is straw. 3rd and 4. Thanks, guys. I'll see Boomer tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Jefferson Dolphins from the Meadowlands. Locker. And nice catch at the 29-yard line made by the veteran Nate Washington. The tackle made by A.J. Boyer. 16-yard pickup and a 1st down.
A good anticipation here by Jake Locker. He's got to let it go before the receiver's out of his break.
You know, we've had co-MVPs in this league before. Recently, too.
Peyton Manning and
Favre with Barry Sanders up against.
I think Peyton Manning and with I'm trying to think who that would have been with, but I know Manning shared it one time.
He did. With Steve McNair, the Tennessee quarterback, the late, great McNair. There's a catch once again. Washington once again. Boyer, gain of 8 this time to the 22.
That could happen, I suppose.
Oh,
right?
Sure it could happen. And if it were ever going to happen, this is the year to happen.
You know, I get one of those votes.
Because you're a former NFL MVP.
I get one of those votes.
That's a very select company, isn't it?
I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
Your guy Boomer gets a vote, too.
Yeah, he's an MVP. 2nd down and 2.
Oops, a little high.
This is right. Flag. They were going for right. All kinds of coverage back there, including Eddie Pleasant and deeper Daniel Manning.
Prior to the pass, holding number 56 to the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
Only 2 guys defensively have won the MVP. Alan Page in that sensational 1971 year. And then Lawrence Taylor in 86. He almost changed the position, kind of like Watt is changing the position.
He really did. And Alan Page, of course, remember the Purple People Eaters.
Boyer is just picked off Locker. Another turnover.
Oh, he could score.
A.J. Boyer has got blockers ahead, including Simon, the linebacker, then brought down on the play. He was knocked out of bounds on the near sideline by Svitek. Locker has thrown his 2nd interception, replacing the injured Zach Mettenberger.
This is very similar to the interception that Zach Mettenberger threw early, Kevin. It's double post, and the quarterback misses a tad behind the receiver. Too simple for Boyer.
6th Red zone takeaway by the Texans and NFL high. They have more takeaways than any other defense in pro football, led by defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel. But interestingly enough, they're only 29th ranked overall defensively in the league.
But they've been so much better in that department, Kevin. They were last in the league in takeaways. This year, they're first.
Tom Savage, a rookie, is in, giving off to Grimes. Look at him dig his way for yardage into the grasp of George Wilson. Almost a first down run. He'll be a little bit shy. They're at the 20. Wednesday on CBS, it's 2 hours of Survivor with 4 crucial challenges and 2 tribal councils. It's anybody's game, a special 2-hour edition of Survivor. Wednesday at 8, 7 Central. Only CBS. First down. They gave him the first down. Grimes, who's out of William and Mary. First and 10.
Wait, 20. What's that?
Knocked up by Klug. Grimes is thrown for a loss of 4. Back to the 24, and Tennessee will take a timeout with 4:50 to play in the fourth.
Tom Savage is an interesting prospect, Kevin. Guy that bounced around college football for a while before finally settling in at the University of Pittsburgh and put up some terrific numbers last year as a member of the Panthers.
Illegal formation offense. Number 75 was on the end of the line as an ineligible receiver. The 5-yard penalty. Repeat first.
Savage eventually left.
Correction. Tennessee's elected to decline that foul. It'll be second down.
Final stop was the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he started for both Rutgers and Pitt and put up some big numbers at Pitt and really played well towards the end of last season. And it's a big guy, Kevin, 6'4", 228. He can sling it. And Bill O'Brien, there's some things that he liked in his game and thought he was worth a 4th-round pick.
He originally enrolled at Arizona. So he had a lot of stops. Second down and 14. Jonathan Grimes to the 21. Gain of 3. There's been a Johnny Manziel sighting. Let's go to New York.
That's true. Oh, Rich, you're going to love this. Monday quarterback will never be the same again with Johnny Manziel. 8 plays, 80 yards, leads the Browns into the end zone. He is 3 of 4, 54 yards passing. He ran the ball twice for 13 yards. Bills still lead 20-10, but newfound energy for the Cleveland Browns.
Kevin, your partner was excited.
He was, and there are 4 fourth-quarter comeback wins by Cleveland this year, so let's keep buckled in. 3rd and 11. Grimes finally brought down by Woodyard at the 26 and loses 2, and they'll try for 3. How about Manziel? I mean,
well, Hoyer held him off for a long time.
He sure did.
At some point, you got to see what the young guy can do. He was just in the news last week. He was out late at night.
Yeah.
Had one of his buddies driving his car, and something happened there, and so they make a big story. The kid can't seem to stay out of trouble, but what a great opportunity for him to get a chance to play. And he's a lot different than what they have in Brian Hoyer. He's going to run around. He's going to make a lot of plays. Things break down around him.
You and I are watching rookie quarterbacks every week. There's so much.
And they're so different.
So much. No kidding. 43-yard try for Bullock, and it is no good. He misses. 5th miss of the season for Randy Bullock out of A&M. Beautiful San Jacinto Monument. Part of the great sights in Houston. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been a pretty good sight.
Oh, my goodness.
6 touchdown passes
What
to
a day.
6. Handoff to Sankey on 1st and 10. Brought down by Merciless, diving his way for 4 to the 38. So the Texans came in today 5-6, and they were trying, Rich, for the 4th different time this season to get back to 500. Looks like they're going to get it, and they're going to go into December 6 up and 6 down and with a chance.
They did a lot of things well, Kevin. They came out and really got off to a hot start offensively. Ran it through it. Good distribution there. The quarterback played well. Defensively, they came up with some big stops and some big turnovers. And that's how you win. I mean, you look at what they've done and you look at what's left on their schedule. I mean, these are winnable games. Jacksonville, the Indy one will certainly be tough, but they played them tough the first time around. Baltimore. There's some games on there that they can win if they play like this.
It's down and 10 after Sankey got the first down run moments ago. So he goes plowing ahead again. He really has not made a dent in this offense like they were hoping. Swearinger brings him down. Gain of 12 for Bishop Sankey, who last year set a University of Washington school record with over almost 1,800 rushing yards, as we'll take it to the 2-minute warning. Ryan Fitzpatrick, a terrific day. One. He's done his share. 2-minute warning. Zach Mettenberger, his right shoulder.
You see him holding that arm there, Kevin. That didn't look good.
First down and 10. Bishop Sankey. Hit by Swearinger, driven out of bounds. Simon Manning. Gain of 3 to about the 40.
You know, it's interesting. Both teams trying to look at these young quarterbacks. You see Zach Mettenberger, he gets hurt. And then, of course, last week it was Ryan Mallett for the Houston Texans. And that really makes it difficult for both these coaching staffs to get a sense, get a feel for who these players are and whether or not they're capable of being starters next season.
Second down, 7. Locker deflected and picked off. And look who's going the other way. Andre Hale. Flag has been thrown. Back at the 44.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 59 of the defense. Not necessary hit in the back. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Almost says it like he's mad. Merciless was guilty. Head down.
Yeah, you can't do that. Come on. That was a bad decision, though, by Merciless. And, of course, really a bad throw by the quarterback. He never feels the flat defender.
Ball to the 25-yard line of the Houston Texans. Mettenberger threw a 36-yard touchdown pass to Kendall Wright earlier in the game. And Jason McCourty in a pick 6. A fumble. I'll take that back. It was a fumble recovery by McCourty, who took it in for a touchdown. And to the back for Washington, touchdown. They beat Darrell Morris. 25-yard touchdown pass for Jake Locker.
A really nice route here by Nate Washington. He's going to start him with a little post stutter. Gets the cornerback to peek and jump inside, and really nice throw there. That's the guy that I said they should have been going after, Kevin. In my film study, Darrell Morris, he struggled. He really struggled last week against A.J. Green. I mean, everybody struggles against A.J. Green, but he really struggled against A.J. Green.
So Locker getting some time with the Mettenberger injury. With the touchdown pass of 25 yards to Nate Washington. With his second touchdown reception of the season. With the 9-year veteran, Washington out of Tiffin.
It was a pretty route.
Great catch.
Really disciplined, very patient. Sold the move, sold the first move.
Suck up. He'll make it 45-21. Defensive touchdown, McCourty 65 yards, returning the turnover. 2 touchdown passes, one by Mettenberger and one by Jake Locker. Thursday Night Football returns this week. Romo and the Cowboys take on the Bears, as 2 of the NFL's greatest franchises meet in prime time. Thursday Night Football returns at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, live on NFL Network. With 2 of the terrific running backs in the NFC, DeMarco Murray and Matt Forte.
Really both having outstanding seasons, Kevin, but both teams, Dallas and Chicago, coming off disappointing Thanksgiving Day performances. Dallas loses to Philly, and of course Chicago loses on the road to Detroit.
Watt today, touchdown reception of a yard, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and fumble recovery. That's a full day.
You know, so many of the plays he makes are because of great effort and hustle. You talk about him having a big-time motor that's always running hot, never takes plays off. He's a great example for young players in this league of how to play that position.
Suckup probably trying here, as it looks like, setting up for an onside kick. Little chip shot instead. Caught by Manning at the 25. Will go down there. 25-yard line, retrieved it. 32-yard line, return of 7. And Watt's day for the Houston Texans.
Well, he knew that the Titans were starting a replacement, the left tackle, and he just went after Svitek and just was around the football a lot, made it difficult for both quarterbacks. And then this was the closer right there. You knew when they put him in the game that something was about to happen.
Texans had lost their last 3 home games. Their last win at home back in late September against Buffalo. So with the win today, they go to 6-6. And the Tennessee Titans will lose their 6th consecutive game, their 10th in the last 11. After opening the season with the win in Kansas City, this has been a very difficult season for first-year head coach Ken Whisenhunt.
It's been a difficult first season. You're right, Kevin. He's had to play with 3 different quarterbacks. It's never a good thing. And they haven't had any real consistency and continuity and production at that position all year. That's been a problem for the Tennessee Titans.
Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 6 touchdown passes today. Jonathan Joseph returned an interception, which set up one of those touchdown passes. Jamal Roll had an interception. And J.J. Watt with a big day. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, happy Thanksgiving weekend as we take you to New York.